When a person or a group starts buying large swaths of Maine land, ears begin to perk up. One of those buyers is the Appalachian Mountain Club. They're buying portions of forest to the south of Baxter State Park.
Soon, its property could be larger than the size of Chicago. Well, our David Guildford learned there are some beloved landmarks in these woods and wanted to know what the future holds.
Maine's forest land has changed hands drastically over the years. For decades, pulp and paper companies owned millions of acres for their operations. Over time, much of it has been sold off to individuals, corporations, and conservation groups. The Appalachian Mountain Club is the oldest conservation group in the U.S., celebrating 150 years in 2026. In 2013, our Bill Green visited a stretch of AMC land in the famed 100-mile wilderness in Piscataquis County.
This is beautiful and precious backcountry.
Since then, the nonprofit has expanded its territory to 127,000 acres, and it's about to add more. Its new venture is called the Whitecap Highlands Forest, and it is 29,500 acres of wilderness. An anonymous person, the AMC said, had already bought the land. If the nonprofit raised $15 million to maintain it, that person would give them the land. But what will it be used for? What can we, as Mainers, use it for? To answer that, I drove to the historic site of Katahdin Iron Works, about 20 miles north of Milo, and got on the back of a snowmobile with a stranger. That's Steve Tadco, a local.
So I'm from Willimantic, Maine, which is just on the other side of those mountains, about 18 miles as the crow flies from here.
Steve is VP of Land and Conservation for the AMC. He took me through the land he used to look up at as a kid, and now will oversee.
So we're on Silver Lake, and the West Branch of the Pleasant River runs right through here, and then all those mountains from Saddleback all the way through to Big Shanty, Big Spruce, and then Whitecaps on the clouds, unfortunately. That's all of the Whitecap Highlands Forest.
In the big picture, 157,000 acres in total is a blip in Maine's 17 million acres of forest land. What makes the AMC's purchases significant is what's in them. First, the land is all connected. Second,
we can see the Appalachian Trail corridor here.
As the group's name suggests, some of the final brutal miles of the Appalachian Trail cut through it. The property also surrounds Gulf Haggis, the Grand Canyon of Maine. And Atlantic salmon populations are returning to ancient habitats right here, through 100 miles of winding river from the mouth of the Penobscot.
We'll be restoring public access to the property as we rebuild the road network, open it back up for hunting and fishing. We'll be improving the campsites that are here and returning it again for outdoor recreation and traditional uses.
The AMC said the land is taxed and promised it will be open to hiking, hunting, fishing, snowmobiling, and logging.
It's not our role to pass judgment. We just want to keep forest land as forest land. And I think with respect to AMC, they're a good steward of the property.
Dana Doran heads the Professional Logging Contractors of the Northeast, which represents 210 logging companies. He said one of his members currently works in the Whitecap Highlands Forest, but only one. For harvesters, it's something, but it's a delicate balance.
They don't harvest as much wood as prior landowners did, because that's not their first priority. But they are still managing their forest land. They are still producing forest products. They still are employing, our member on that land base. And we hope that that continues.
How much of Maine's land should be harvested, used for trails, or left untouched is a conversation happening endlessly in Augusta and beyond. Meanwhile, the new caretakers here said this land will look like this as long as they're here.
Just the fact that you can come here today and experience an unbroken forest and the mountains and rivers and have your own unique experience in whatever way is meaningful for you is just truly astounding and irreplaceable.
It's part of the reason Maine is such a special place. Beautiful. David Guildford reporting for us. By the way, not all of the new section owned by the Appalachian Mountain Club is open to the public just yet.
But as you saw, there are snowmobile trails running through a lot of that area. You could ride through it tomorrow.